Documents aren't always scanned through Acrobat, but Acrobat can convert scanned documents to PDF anyway. In this video, you'll see how to convert a scanned document to PDF and optimize the file to clean it up and OCR the file if necessary. So I've got optimizescan.jpg open from the folder, and when you open up a scanned documents typically come in as images, basically JPEGs, TIFFs. There's a lot of file formats you can utilize. If you open them directly in Acrobat, they are converted to PDF. Based on the resolution they were, that's what they stay at. So that's kind of how they look. Now, when it opens them exactly as they were scanned. Acrobat has some tools that allows us to clean these up a bit so they look a little bit more professional. And if you look at this one right here, you'll be able to see it's a little bit skewed. It's kind of on an angle. The text looks a little grainy, that sort of thing. So we can clean things up a bit. I'm just going to tell you this is a great tool, but it doesn't always work magic on your files. With this file open, coming up to document, we'll be able to see the command called optimize scanned PDF. So once again, if this is something that's been scanned and you open it directly in Acrobat, click Optimize Scan PDF. It opens up the Optimize Scan PDF dialog box. And we have a choice up top. You got a little scroll bar or a slider here to change it to smaller size or high quality. Now, if you want it to look better, obviously I'm gonna slide it over to high quality. It's going to be a bigger file size. If you want it to be smaller, so maybe you can email it or send it off to somebody else, you choose smaller size. I'm going to try a little bit higher quality. Crank it to the right over here. Look at the options we've got down here. You've got deskew. This is a great thing. Deskew is going to take it and make it so that if it's at an angle, it'll straighten it. So it goes to about, I think it's like 15 degrees or 20 degrees, something like that. It'll actually straighten it out for you. If you don't want it to do that, maybe you've got a contract and you're trying not to change its appearance, you can choose off for that. Background removal is a great thing. A lot of scanners, if the scanner head or the glass is dirty, it'll put a little bit of a dark shadow on the corners. You can tell it to remove that. And if it's not aggressive enough, let's say you've got some really dark corners in this thing, you can tell it to go with medium background or high background. The thing about using this optimize is there's no preview. You click OK, you try it, and then if it doesn't work, you try it again. You look here, you're going to see also edge shadow removal. Once again, if there's any edge shadow, like there's a nice little shadow here on the very edge, it'll try and remove it. Cautious means it's going to not remove quite as much as it might. Aggressive is if it's really bad, it's going to try and get rid of it. And once again, for any of these settings, you can turn them off if you don't want them to happen. I don't have an edge shadow, so turn it to off. Despeckle, this can be a really important one. Despeckle says it's dusty, it's dirty, and you scan a document, and it scans with a bunch of little flecks and speckles all over the place. You can tell it to despeckle. Now, if you like that sort of thing, you can turn it off. If you try it and you don't quite think it's good enough, I usually set this pretty high to begin with, because the higher you go, the more speckling it's going to get rid of all this little extra stuff out here. And it doesn't always work. We'll see that. Descreen, if a document has been printed and then you scan it and bring it in here, a lot of times you're going to see screening. The logo, look at Groombite right here. I'll move this out of the way. You'll see the logo has a little checkerboard pattern to it. That's called screening. So it's actually been printed, and then you're trying to get rid of that. Sometimes it does a pretty good job. Sometimes it doesn't always, do perfectly. But if you don't want it, you turn it off. I usually keep it at automatic to handle that. And then halo removal. Some scanners will throw little halos around your text or your images, and you probably want to get rid of that. So I'll turn that on. And once you're set, you're set. You click OK, it's going to run. So click OK. Take a look at your document. It'll take a few seconds here. It's going to run through it, optimizing the file, and there we go. Now, like I said, it does a good job. Sometimes it misses some things. If you look out here, it's straightened the file. Things look a little bit cleaner. If you look at the logo, it's not quite as checkerboard. Try to get rid of some of that screening. If you do notice, it did miss a few of these little speckles out here. We can get rid of those, but that's working with the document and editing the file. So we'll do that in a later video. But it did a pretty good job. Not too bad. Okay. So that's working with going through and trying to clean up a document. By using this, you're going to be able to take your documents and just give them a shine. You're going to make them look a lot better. They're not going to look like you tried to scan them and then just pass them off. They'll be able to be more presentable, I guess you could say.